Hello, good morning from sunny San Diego. Yes, it's still sunny despite the fact that it's almost Christmas. And in fact, that is the subject of today's talk. I'm on my own and I'm going to talk to you about making connections. And the holiday season is a really, really good time to make connections or renew connections. So I am Andrea Koochin. This is MyHomeBiz.TIPS. And here our purpose in life is to inspire, empower, and support home-based business owners because we want them to be able to find, create, and scale the business of their dreams without sacrificing their family or their sanity, as so many people seem to. So we have years of experience combined, our team here, and we know all sorts of useful things that can help you in the business world. And one thing that I've noticed recently, especially in social media, especially the work-related social media platforms rather than the social ones, is that I'm being invited by so many people to watch a video that will tell me all about how to generate leads, because obviously generating leads is a pain point for people. So what is a lead? A lead is somebody who might potentially do business with you. And you can buy leads, you can get leads from all sorts of different places. I mean, I haven't followed up with many of these people because it's not something that I need right now. In fact, it's not something I can anticipate me needing either. And a lot of the work that I've done over the last several years, 8 years, heading on 9 years particularly, has been to help companies set a system up which avoids their need to ever search for leads. Now, you might be thinking, oh, I don't have enough leads for my business. There's a chance that you could be wrong. It is possible that you do have enough leads for your business, and I'm going to show you where to find them. In your database. Yeah, in your database. If you go through your phone, your email, every email that you've responded to or every phone call that you've made is logged somewhere, and so is the number that you used or the email address that you used. With any luck, those are associated with names. You can remember who those people were. They probably became contacts in your phone or in your database. When I started working, it was called a Rolodex. Even in England, we used the expression Rolodex. Can't use that anymore because it has no meaning. But your database, your contact database, if you're using Gmail or if you're using Outlook, or if you're using Yahoo or even MailChimp, something like that, everybody who has subscribed or everybody you've emailed is a lead. Now, over the years of you running your business, even if it's only months, over that period of time, you've collected people who you either did business with or you nearly did business with. You were in communication with them about doing business. Those people are still leads or even prospects, because not only might you be able to continue the conversation and do business with them, but you might also be able to do repeat business with them if they already did something with you. Say somebody took out a life insurance policy. Well, they might have a spouse who needs a life insurance policy, or a child who needs a life insurance policy. More importantly, if you did a good job with them, and if you continue to stay in touch with them, you might get referrals from them. So I work with real estate agents who never advertise because they have enough leads coming to them because they're getting referrals. That's the position that I want everybody that I ever connect with to be in. Because when you know that you've got access to lots of new leads, that takes a lot of stress out of running your business. And it also means that you don't have to respond to being bombarded by people in social media who are trying to promote their business idea to you. Sorry, I just forgot to turn the volume off on my phone. Let me do that right now. Turn that call off. reject that call, turn the volume off. Sorry about that. Right. So the best way of connecting with people and keeping track of it is to use a CRM. Often CRM, which is supposed to mean customer relationship manager, has become synonymous with an email system. When I say CRM, I don't mean customer relationship manager, and I don't mean email system like MailChimp or Constant Contact or any of those. What I mean is contact relationship manager. And what happens in my contact relationship manager is I keep the person's information, their contact information, which includes their mailing address, their email address, and their telephone number, and their social media links, and their birthday, and information about what business they're in and how I met them. Then a log of all the connections that I've had with that person, which systems like Gmail and Yahoo, I think, will do automatically. If I go into my contacts in Gmail now, it'll show the emails that I sent them, the emails they sent me, and the dates that happened. So I don't even have to think about tracking those things. If I go into Facebook, it'll show me the messages that went backwards and forwards if I private message somebody. So I don't necessarily even need to track that either. But what I do want to know is what the conversation is that I'm having with that person. And the most important thing, when I'm following up with them next. So my CRM system, my contact relationship manager, has their contact information, the history of our communication cycle. And the most important thing is there's a reminder system of some kind that lets me know when it's time to talk to that person again, or when it's time to communicate with that person again. In and amongst that, which you can buy or hack or create your own way, or if you want information on the best kind of system to use and what system to use and how to use it, let me know, because I can do a webinar on it. I've written emails about it. If you want those emails, subscribe to my email list, which you can find on our website. There are buttons that allow you to subscribe. You can email me if you want information about a specific thing. Eventually, all the emails that I've ever written will become blogs on the website. Some of them are articles on LinkedIn, so you can find them. But if you can't find them, go to the website, MyHomeBiz.TIPS, MyHomeBiz.TIPS. Subscribe. And if you specifically want a particular thing, go to the Contact Us piece and write need info on CRMs. Maybe we can even have a private brainstorming session about it. It doesn't have to cost money. You can use Gmail or your Google account to do most of it for you, as long as you get reminded of how the conversation goes. So say, for example, that I was having a conversation with somebody who said, oh, I'm really interested in knowing about this product when it launches. Can you call me to let me know when it launches? Now, at the moment, I'm working on several things that aren't quite launched yet. So I think they're going to launch probably the middle of December, and some of them the end of January. So I then have a message in my calendar that comes up the middle of January that says, these are the people that need to be reminded about the launch, right? And I know exactly who they are, and I can then send them an update on when the launch will be, and I can send it as a group email. Or I might call somebody and they might say, hey, you know what? I'm going away over the holidays. I'm traveling to Europe or whatever it is. I don't want to do anything, but please call me on the 6th of January. Don't don't message me and say that's a Sunday, because I just plucked that out of the air. So even if it is a Sunday, I might call. But I want something to remind me on the 6th of January that this person needs to be called. And I want to be able to say to them, hey, how was your trip? Because I can see that the last time we spoke, they said they were going to Europe or whatever it was. And I can ask them, how was your trip to Europe? Okay. That shows them that I'm interested enough in them to keep track of what's happening. In the meantime, I might also see how they're doing in social media, or I might see them post things. I might see a picture. I might see that they actually went to Berlin. And then when I talk to them, I might say, how was Berlin? And they're like, woo, she really cares about me, because I just mentioned I was going to Europe and she's actually found out that I'm going to Berlin. As you get used to connecting with people and being interested in people, you remember things as well. Once you've got a system in place that helps you remember, it kind of improves your memory. That sounds weird, but try it. It actually works that way. So you keep track of people. You don't keep track of everybody. I've got an email list of several thousand people. I don't have several thousand people in my CRM because I'm not having personal conversations with over 1,000 people, or 2 or 3 or 4,000 people. That wouldn't be possible. 500 or 600. I might be able to manage up to 1,000, but I don't think I could manage any more of that at all. And they're not all in a sales cycle with me either. They might be friends of mine. I just want to remember when their birthday is. So I want a reminder that says this is their birthday, their kids' birthdays. Maybe if they've said something through the year when we were talking about, oh, I would just love so-and-so, or I just read an amazing book by X author, I can take a note so that when the holidays come or their birthday comes, I can see if there's another book available by that author or something that I can then send them, right? Or I can send them a month free to Audible so that they can listen to a book by that author or in that genre or something that relates and connects. So I have personal contacts in my CRM as well, because they're contacts of mine and I'm building the relationship with them. Now, I know someone who also puts her dentist and her doctor in there because she puts appointments in there. So she gets a reminder on the day of the appointment, right? So the overlap between your contact relationship management system and your calendar is very intimate, very intimate. In fact, appointments which are in your calendar would also be in your contact relationship management system, because if you have an appointment, it's with a person, right? So arguably that's how that fits in. So it's up to you what level you do that. It's up to you whether you're going to include family and friends or whether you're just going to have your business contacts. It's up to you whether you run it in Gmail, where they are going to automatically overlap anyway, or whether you run it somewhere else, whether you want to be reminded about business things at the weekends or not. Entirely up to you, your choice, whether you want to pay for something or use something that's free. But use those 3 things: the contact database where you keep the information, the notes section where you can write down what you experienced, what the conversation is about, when you reached out to them, what was said, and most importantly, when the next date of contact is going to be. So those are the 3 essential things you need in your CRM. Now, in terms of when the contact is going to be, that's up to you again to plan when it's going to be. So say, for example, you participate in a Zoom meeting that's a kind of a networking group, and there's a new person there who's expressed an interest in you. I would certainly reach out that first contact within 24 hours. In fact, I would do it immediately after the phone call, after the Zoom call. So always leave yourself buffer time between meetings so that you can do that essential follow-up and send the first thing out, which could be a text message, it could be a digital business card, it could be an email, whatever it is, to say, great connecting with you. Here's the information you requested, or what is it that you need help with? How can I help you? Connect with them on Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever is appropriate, wherever you want to continue the communication. Then set a reminder in your calendar to reconnect with them after however long it is that you think that it'll take them to review the information you sent or respond to the communication. It could be 48 hours, it could be 7 days. It's entirely up to you. But establish a pattern. So your first connection is 24 hours. Your second connection is 72 hours after that, or 7 days after that, or whatever it is. Establish a pattern and a rhythm and set your system up so that that rhythm is incorporated. So you sent the email today, you get your reminder for 72 hours, the follow-up has to go out. Obviously, unless they've reached back. If they reach back, then you start it again. You make sure that you respond within 24 hours or 48 hours or 72 hours or whatever it is that you decide is appropriate for your business. Now, in the event of a non-response, you want to have a strategy. So say you have 24 hours, say that then becomes 72, say you then leave it for a week for them to respond to you. You might then leave it for 10 days. You might then leave it for 2 weeks, for a month, 3 months. I wouldn't leave it longer than 3 months, which means that in some way you're connecting to them 4 times a year. You might decide to put them on your mailing list, which is fine, but I would add something else in. And these are the 3 or 4 or a few. These are a few of the ideas for things that you can use to keep that quarterly communication line open. I wouldn't leave it longer than quarterly if I were you. And this is what I've been teaching the realtors that I've been working with and the insurance people. And we've got car sales, car showrooms on our team. Most of the businesses that I've been communicating with, coaches, for example, are businesses that are a little bit more on the personal side. In other words, you share personal information. In other words, building a relationship is very appropriate. So finance, mortgage, real estate, cars, which is to do with finance, or the cost of the item being sold is higher, which also happens to apply to those groups. But that would also include jewelry, which would include engagement rings, which is another whole area. Event planners like wedding planners, people like that. And that business has changed dramatically in the last nearly a year as well. So these are the things I would have. Holiday cards, and make them very generic if you don't know what specific holiday they want to hear from you about. You know, you don't want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas if Christmas isn't their thing, or a Happy Hanukkah if Hanukkah's not their thing, or Kwanzaa, or whatever it is. You want to have something that will show that you're wishing them well for the holiday, but isn't specific to a certain holiday. Then there's Valentine's Day, where you love on your clients and your customers. So you send them a card or an email or do a little video that just shows them how much you love the fact that you're connected to them and you really appreciate them. Then we have potentially Easter, if you want to acknowledge that, Passover. Then we have Mother's Day or Father's Day, or graduation time. If they've got teenage kids who've graduated, you can get all that information from social media. You'll see what's going on in their lives. Then you have the summer break, especially if you're working with a lot of realtors who are mums, for example. That's a significant time. Maybe they could do with some tips on what to do with their kids over the holidays, over the vacation period, especially last year we were all stuck at home. I don't know what next year holds for us, but that's another opportunity. Then there's the back to school period. And then the holidays start over again. Well, there was Father's Day, of course, in June, shortly after Mother's Day. So Mother's, Father's Day, Parents' Day. You could sort of send one card halfway through for mums and dads. If you don't know whether they're both together or not, you can figure those kind of things out. So then we've gone through the summer, and we get to Halloween, which particularly in the US is a massive holiday. I had heard some statistics recently that suggest that people spend more money and do more activities related to Halloween and more decorating related to Halloween than they do to the holidays anymore, the winter holiday, Christmas or whatever it is that they're celebrating, which I thought was quite interesting, given that traditionally the holiday is a period of gift giving. You'd think they'd spend more money there, but no, apparently they spend more money at Halloween now. So there's Halloween. And then there's Thanksgiving, which, if you're in business particularly, is a brilliant time to acknowledge and thank your clients and your customers for staying loyal to you and working with you over the last year, particularly if you bring it through into the holidays and offer and, wish them peace and joy and prosperity in the new year. You've then covered everything, and you've sent that card out first because you did it before Thanksgiving. Now, you've missed Thanksgiving, doesn't matter. The holidays are still coming. I mean, I know Hanukkah's in a couple of days, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. The whole season is still there, and it goes right through into early January, because you can still be wishing people a happy and prosperous 2021 into the new year. So whatever it is that you choose to do, I'm not suggesting you send a card for each occasion. I'm just suggesting that you find a period during the year where you can send at least one or two cards. And the holidays and a birthday seem to me to be really good times to do that. Birthday cards are easy. You just go through your Facebook contacts, because Facebook will let you know when their birthday is happening before it's happening. And you can ask, if you don't have it already, you can ask for a mailing address and send an actual physical greeting card, or you can send some kind of digital card to them, or just do something on Facebook. But the more different, the more personalized and the more special it is, and the more physical it is, the more of an impact it'll make. So this can be part of your regular follow-up process and your follow-up system. Now, I've mentioned a couple of things I'm going to give you a little bit more information about. I mentioned a digital business card of some kind. If you want help with that, we can help you. We have a system that sends digital business cards out. You can do it through your phone. You can do it through your computer. They are branded, obviously. You can include all sorts of things. For people where I don't have their mailing address, for their birthday, I send them a greeting card, a digital greeting card that has a funny little video that I found on YouTube that has a happy birthday tune and some monkeys playing guitars or something silly, or frogs hopping around, or those silly little things, just to brighten their day and put you in their mind. That's all we're doing. We're doing it in a generous way. Don't send people gift cards and say, we're giving you a discount because it's your birthday, because what you're actually saying is, we'd like you to come and spend some money with us, less than normal, but come and spend money with us. And that isn't really a gift. It's better to not send a gift at all and just send a card than to send a gift card that gives them a discount to something. Please don't do that. Not if you're trying to build good relationships with people. So those are our digital business cards. And there is a button on our website, MyHomeBiz.TIPS, that, and I think it actually says digital business cards. Then there are the greeting cards, and I'm going to show you some examples of greeting cards. Again, if you go to the website, MyHomeBiz.TIPS, and click on the box that says Happy Mail, then you'll see some information about our greeting cards. I'm going to show you some examples here of greeting cards. This is one that we created for, guess who? Realtors. Yes, but isn't this appropriate? And inside there is a message that can be any message at all. Happy holidays, keeps it less, again, keeps the religion. And on the back, they can be custom branded. Okay, and you don't have to do these yourself. You do them online and they get printed and mailed for you from Utah. Here's another one. I'm going to show you the two together here because these two are very similar, you see, very similar and yet slightly different. Now, this one is one that I used last year, I think, to send to clients with my message inside and my branding on the back. Last year, our branding was PhD in follow-up, which of course is backwards. Now, PhD in follow-up has morphed into MyHomeBiz.TIPS because it's become bigger than just follow-up. Follow-up is what I'm teaching you today, but we do more than this, as you know, from the conversations that we've already had. Now, this is a card that I received from a client this year. In fact, if you've been watching the show, you'll know who this is, because she put her very beautiful and very subtle logo on the back. And this is Sarah. This is Sarah Lambrinos, who we interviewed in our first episode, who talked all about web presence. So she's used this card, and look at how beautifully subtle that is. Now, this goes to her clients. So her clients know exactly who that is. She doesn't need to ram it down their throat. It actually made me think that this was somewhat overkill, because my clients don't need to know, even my prospects don't need to know all this information. Probably just the logo would have been enough. Sarah is very elegant in her approach. Now, let me show you the family holiday card that I sent to members of the family and very close friends last year, because it has something in it which could be quite interesting for you in your business. So it starts out like this. And this was something I found online, and I turned it into a card by putting the season's greetings on. And then you open it up and it has some family photos and a message. Okay. But if you open it up further, more photos and a calendar. Now, if you're in business, you can include a calendar, and these are quite useful. And if you have some nice photos, I'm not suggesting your company logo necessarily. You're not a Chinese restaurant, but some nice photos that people might actually want to look at that might relate to your product, like some pretty houses or a lovely country cottage, or something that is generic and non-offensive that people will actually want to have on the wall. And by the way, the end of this card is our holiday Santa photo that we take every year. So I've actually on this card got 6 panels: the calendar, photos, the front of the card, which is now upside down, of course, the back of the card, which would have your branding on, and my message. Okay, so you don't have to use a triple card in order to put a calendar in. You could put a calendar in a single card like this. This blank space would be perfect. And people can cut it off and just have the calendar. You can put your logo onto it. But if you do something like that, you've given them something that they can use for a year, which reminds them who you are. Any tips, questions, more detail, give me a call. Our number's on the website. The website is down there, MyHomeBiz.TIPS. Or go into the contacts or email me. My email address is Andrea@MyHomeBiz.TIPS. Okay, and we can have a conversation and we can brainstorm and I can help you. This is technical stuff. You do need a little bit of technical ability and understanding in order to create the cards. It's a very simple system designed for people who don't have a lot of technical knowledge. But if you need support and help, we can support and help you. It's also really cost effective, actually, really simple and cost effective. Now, like I said, if you need any help, if you've got any questions, go to the website, reach out. We've talked about connecting to people. It's really important. And at this time of year, you have a perfect opportunity to reconnect with people who will potentially become clients, customers, patients, whatever it is, if they haven't been in the past because they haven't got to that stage. Maybe you forgot about them. It's okay. It doesn't matter. You can reach out to them again. You don't have to send physical greeting cards. If you don't have the budget or you think you haven't got enough time, you can send an email. You can send digital business cards, digital greeting cards that have something at least to put your name and your business in their mind. Something. It's not going to cost you a fortune. You don't have to do it on your own. We're here to help you. But this is a great time to renew connections. Nobody is going to get a massive shock because you sent them a holiday card, even though they haven't spoken to you for 5 years. Trust me, it's not going to be a problem. That way you reconnect. You will find in your database, I pretty much guarantee it, that if you establish good connections with people and you take a little bit of time to reach out with people and stay connected to them a little by little by little, it doesn't take a lot of time. And I've got lots of more information about how you can get that established. And if you want more, let me know, because I can do another call on it. I can do another show on it. I can do a webinar on it. I can write more about it. I'm here to give you what you need. So reach out and ask for the help that you need. Reestablishing contact with people is going to give you a whole load of leads that you've forgotten that you had, either when you close clients who hadn't closed before, get repeat business from people you've already done business with, or get referrals from people you've already done business with. Now, as a realtor, you're not going to sell a new house to somebody every year. I think the average is 7 or 8 years. But in that meantime, those people are going to refer you potentially to their friends and neighbors. Now, we've got some questions coming in. For business connections, should I join a local chamber of commerce? Yes, join a chamber of commerce and participate in their events. They're probably doing a lot on Zoom now. Zoom is brilliant because you don't have travel time and you can reach out to people even during the event by sharing email addresses with them. And you can definitely reach out to them within minutes of the event having finished. Now, I recommend that always, because you can always jump in your car, send a quick email, text message, even send a greeting card from your phone or a digital business card. You can do that immediately. The quicker you respond, the more professional you appear. Appearing professional, being professional, never mind appearances, actually being professional is the best way that you can promote yourself, because when you're professional, people really like that. When I have a conversation with somebody and I say, how was your trip that you told me last time we spoke that you were going on? And I saw your pictures on Facebook, so I can see that you've been to Berlin or whatever it was I mentioned earlier on. They're not thinking, oh my God, she's stalking me. They're thinking, wow, she's being professional. She cares about me. If you ever frighten anybody and they get the feeling that they're being stalked, you'll know and you can pull back. It's better to reach out more. In the years that I've been doing this, I've been told way more times, thanks for your follow-up. Thanks for being so professional. I really appreciate the fact that you're following up with me. I've been told that I don't know how many times. The number of times that I've been told, I don't want this, or no, I'm not going to give you my mailing address, I can count on one hand. Seriously. And I'm dealing with big numbers of people. Honestly, trust me on this. If you want help, if you want coaching on it, if you want to know what to say, what to write, we can go into all the details about scripting. If you're listening to this on Facebook and you've got a question, just like the one about the Chamber of Commerce, pop it into the chat and we'll give you an answer. We'll give you an answer live. This is one of the great things about doing this on Facebook, is the fact that it becomes interactive. So fire away, ask me questions. But I don't want to be on here too long today. How often would you recommend sending a newsletter or a business update to the list? Well, I would recommend a minimum of monthly. I wouldn't necessarily do quarterly. I think that's a little bit too much space. I wouldn't necessarily recommend weekly. I know there are people who do it daily. I do it several times a week because I've got different things to say, and I'm beginning to streamline what goes out on certain days so that people know, email on Monday must be about who she's interviewing tomorrow. I'll have a look who she's interviewing tomorrow. You know, email on Thursday, a business tip or something like that. I wouldn't do less than every quarter, and I wouldn't necessarily do more than every week unless you've got the bandwidth to deal with it. But that's up to you, and it doesn't really matter. This is the really important thing to bear in mind: consistency. So if you haven't started yet, if you're not doing regular newsletters or updates in any way, shape or form, don't try to do it every week and then find you can't stick to it. Don't try to do it even every month and find you can't stick to it. Start with quarterly. Create a really nice email that goes out every quarter and be consistent with it. You can even do it every 4 months and do it a third of the year. You could arguably do that. And then as soon as you've got into the groove, do it quarterly. And then once you've nailed doing it quarterly and you're being consistent with that, increase it. Instead of doing it every 3 months, do it every 6 weeks. And as your team grows, because you're going to have assistants, you're going to want to have assistants doing this for you. You're not going to be wanting to do all of this all the time yourself, which is why you start with less frequency, because you can manage doing it yourself if you're only doing it once a quarter. You can maybe manage doing it yourself if you're only doing it once a month. But if you're going to do it more often than that, you'll probably want support and help. Consistency is way more important than frequency. Consistency is always more important than frequency, which is why I'm suggesting sending a card maybe at the holidays and birthday. You don't need to send 5 or 6 cards, whether they be physical cards or digital cards or whatever. You don't need to do it often, but to be consistent. If you send someone a birthday card this year, and then you send them one next year as well, the wow factor on that is high. Trust me, again, I've been doing this a while, and everything I tell you is stuff that I've experienced myself. It may be something that somebody taught me and I then implemented and it turned out that it worked, or it's something I figured out myself and implemented and it worked, but it's all stuff that I've definitely tried. And it works, and I know it'll work for you. If someone says no or not right now to a business opportunity, should I automatically take them off the list? No, never, ever, ever take anybody off your list unless they've actually threatened your life. I'm serious about that because things change. So if, for example, and I know I keep harping on about realtors, but it's a really good idea. No, you know what? I'm going to use a health practitioner as an example here. Say you have a problem with pain and you're seeing a health practitioner, an acupuncturist who manages to cure the pain. You don't need to keep going back for an appointment. You're going to forget about it because you're not in pain anymore. In fact, there's a good chance that if you never feel pain anymore, you're never going to go back, or at least you're not going to go back until you feel pain. So if that health practitioner stops communicating with you, when you then feel pain again, you won't know where, you probably won't know who you went to. You might have moved house in the meantime, and you'll go somewhere else. So if as a practitioner, you have the viewpoint of, I haven't seen that person for 6 months, or I haven't seen that person for a year, or that person said they were cured and they're not going to come back, or that person never even, that I met at that chamber event, never actually even came into my clinic, you're throwing away people who could come back to you at some point. So it's incredibly important to keep in communication with them, because even if you've healed that pain, even if you've healed all pain that they will ever experience, they will at some point, absolutely guaranteed, come into contact with somebody who will say something hurts. And if you've been connecting with them consistently, they will recommend you because they'll remember who you are. They will connect you. I don't remember who it was, who the agent was that I got into this house through. Because once that deal was done, I never heard from that person again. I actually have no idea who it was that connected me to this house. Isn't that nuts? Because I know I have neighbors who might say, well, I'm thinking of selling, or I'm thinking of moving. Who do you think I could go to? I could go to the person who got me this house, but I don't remember who that person is anymore. So I can't. If that person had kept in touch with me, I would be referring, even though I haven't moved myself. And I can't underestimate how important it is that you continuously keep in touch with people, even if it's only putting them on the email list and being open to questions and asking them to ask questions. Because when people ask you questions, it gives you a clue what they're looking for. Okay. Somebody will always refer somebody to somebody. Any more questions? Oh, another one. I'm worried about annoying my family and friends with my business because I've been told they're my warm market. Yes, they are your warm market, and that's where you start. Absolutely. But if they're not interested, move on. The easiest way of dealing with something like that is to say, Mum, now you're buying my shampoo, or now you've decided not to buy my shampoo. Do you know anybody who you think might be interested in this kind of shampoo, so that I don't have to keep bullying you? Because I might, if I need to sell a certain number of shampoo bottles every month in order to get my quota or whatever it is, to stop me coming back to you, do you know somebody? Or do you know somebody who's looking to make a little bit of additional retirement income who might know some people who would use some shampoo? I would do it like that. Rather than approaching them directly, approach them in a sort of roundabout way. Ask if they know somebody, because people like helping people that they like. Not only are your family going to want to help you or be willing, until you've irritated them, which is what we're trying to avoid. Not only will they be willing to help you growing your business, but they'll also be willing to help somebody that they know who's in trouble, who wants help and support. So that I would definitely do it that way. And all these things we'll explore in more detail at some point in the future, either with an email or, like I said, I could do webinars, I can do other calls. But I want to, before I close, I want to do a holiday gift. I read a book which is life-changing, and it's all about building relationships. It's called The Power of Human Connection, How Relationship Marketing is Transforming the Way People Succeed. It's written by Cody Bateman. Cody Bateman created the company that I use for sending greeting cards out. And he wrote this book, and it's available in paperback. In fact, if you go onto our website, MyHomeBiz.TIPS, you will see that under the Happy Mail section, you can get onto the website. This book is available there, but I'm offering 3 free copies, which I'm going to send you in the mail with a greeting card if you give me your address. Okay, so the first 3 people, actually, let's make it a little bit interesting. The first 3 people who write a really good comment about why they think this book is going to help them, I'll give it a few days to see. You can either email me directly, Andrea at MyHomeBiz.TIPS, or you can go on to MyHomeBiz.TIPS, go on to the contact page, give me your mailing address. It can be a PO box, it can be your office, it doesn't have to be your home address. And I will send you this book in the mail. If you can tell me, it just needs to be a few words, or it can be a paragraph, it's up to you, why you think this book is useful to you or could be of use to you. Let's make it a little bit more fun. And I'll give it a week. Okay, and I'll see, and we'll announce on the website and in our emails or on social media who the winners are. Obviously, we're not going to give your private information away, but we'll announce who the winners are, and we'll get it in the mail to you. So we'll be sending these out sort of round about the end of next week, probably, to give you some time. A clear indication of why you think this book will bring value to your business and your personal life as well, I have to say, because relationship marketing is about relationship, not marketing. And I don't know whether any of you have heard the story that I tell about the broccoli, because when you're selling something, and this is going to be very, very quick, but there'll be a lot more on this at some point. Marketing is about giving someone a viewpoint that they didn't have before so that they can then make a decision about something. You're doing that all the time on a daily basis, even with your family and with your children. That conversation you have with your 2-year-old about eating broccoli, that is a marketing exercise. So if you can persuade a 2-year-old to eat broccoli or a teenager to go to bed on time, then you can do marketing. You can do sales. It's easy. So relationship is what isn't so easy, believe it or not. And your clues to building relationships are in this book and in the information that I've given you today in this call. So I'm going to finish now because I've said a lot and I don't want to overburden you with too much information. Email me, Andrea at MyHomeBiz.TIPS, if you've got any questions. Go to the website, MyHomeBiz.TIPS, go to the contact page, give us your mailing address, postal address. Doesn't matter where in the world you are. The last time I did this through my email list, I gave away books and I sent several to Europe, although I'm in the US. So it doesn't matter where in the world you are. Don't have any considerations about that. Tell me why you think this book would be of value to you. I'm looking forward to hearing your responses. I am Andrea Koochin. This was My Home Biz Tips. TIPS, I think, at the moment stands for training, implementation, partnerships, and services. Our aim is to inspire, empower, and support home-based business owners to enable them to find, create, and scale the business of their dreams without sacrificing their family or their sanity. And I hope I've done that a little bit in my broadcast today. And I hope to see you here again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great week.